Chapter 24. I chased Jason all the way to the end of his cul-de-sac. He was hiding behind a tree by the side of a small, narrow creek. I hate him, Jason said when I took off my shoes and sat down nearby. I never want to talk to him again. I peered at my friend. I knew how hurt he was. It was the same way I felt all those years ago, but it must ache so much more because it was his dad. I'm sorry he said that, I said. He doesn't mean it. Oh, he meant it all right, just like he meant it when he called me fat growing up or the time he made fun of my maths. Remember that? I nodded weakly. Or called my handwriting chicken poop. Jason continued listing one thing after another. Gently, I put a hand on his arm. Jason, your dad is just your dad. But you can't quit on your dreams because of what he said. He's one person. But he means everything to me. Jason rubbed his eyes. I hated seeing Jason like this. He blew his nose into his arm and cried. All I wanted was for him to see me in my element and be proud of me. I was so excited when he said he wanted to invest. Now I just walk around with a giant knot in my stomach, worrying about what new criticism is gonna come flying out of his mouth. An angry, booming voice called out from the street. Jason? It was Mr. Yao coming out to look for him. Jason got an armful of leaves and covered both of us. We sat as quiet as bedbugs as Mr. Yao stomped up and down the cul-de-sac, yelling. Finally, when he gave up and went home, Jason and I re-emerged from the leaves. We'll tell him to back off, I said. I'll help you. He'll never change. It's too much. Hey, if you can get through it with him, so can you. If I can get through it with him, so can you. Jason took a rock and threw it into the stream, hard. Yeah, well, you didn't have to live with him. When my dad picked me up, Jason came with us to get his things from the Cala Vista. You're not really quitting, are you? I asked him in the car. I don't know, he said. Please don't, I begged. We need you. Jason, I know you're going through a lot, Dad said from the front. But think of all your customers. They'll survive, Jason muttered. I turned to him with moist eyes. But how could he say that? But the sad look on his face broke my heart. He would miss his customers more than anyone, I could tell. I reached for his hand, but he pulled away. No, he snapped. I'm fine. I swallowed hard and stared straight ahead. As soon as my dad pulled into our parking lot, I bolted out the door to find Hank. He was in the kitchen chopping carrots. Jason walked in behind me before I could say anything and started packing up his cutting knives and mixing spoons. Hey, bud, Hank said to Jason. Where are you taking all that? The dinner rush's about to start. Jason glanced towards the dining room. Torn. I'm so sorry. I can't stay today, Jason finally said. I got some stuff on my mind. What's wrong? Hank asked. Jason shook his head. Out with it, and we can chop it up. That's what we always do, Hank encouraged him, taking Jason's apron off the hanger and handing it to him. Pour all your frustrations into the stew and watch the steam carry your anger away. Jason shook his head again. Not this time. This is one pickle we can't chop up. Even sourest of the sauerkraut doesn't taste so sour if you get it off your chest, Hank said, holding out a fermented cabbage leaf from one of Jason's kimchi jars. Jason loved kimchi. He looked at it for a long while, then he put it into his mouth and reached for his apron. I'll stay, but only if you tell my dad I'm not here, he said. We wouldn't breathe a word, Hank promised. What if he comes in here looking for you? I asked. Jason bit his lower lip, then pointed towards the manager's quarters. I'll cook from your kitchen, Mia, he said. He'll never look in there. Hank chuckled. Hey, it works for me. I don't care where you're cooking, as long as you're doing what you love. He gave Jason a hug and sent him to the manager's quarters, along with a big basket of cabbage.